We are here in the real presence of Jesus in the Holy Eucharist in the monstrance. He's truly here. This is not a symbol. So Lord, with your permission, allow me to speak in your presence and tell another story about the Holy Eucharist. Can you see faith? Can you hear faith? Hi everyone, this is Father Rocky in the Chapel of the Nativity at Relevant Radio in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with another story about the Holy Eucharist in our Eucharistic Encounters series. Can you see faith? Well, I've got a story to tell you. But first, it begins by a story from the Bible. Remember that story about the woman who had a hemorrhage for 12 years, and she heard Jesus was passing through the town, I think it was in Jericho, and she said to herself, if I could just touch the hem of his cloak, I'll be cured. And so she pushed her way through the crowd. It was a big crowd, and she managed to touch the hem of the cloak of Jesus, and she was immediately cured. And Jesus turned around, and the crowd said, who touched me? Who touched me? And everybody said, what do you mean, who touched you? Everybody's touching you. It's like being at a Green Bay Packers game against the Bears and somebody gets tackled and they say, who tackled me? Well, there's 10 people on top of me. Jesus said, who touched me? Oh, everybody touched you. No, this was different. This was different. I felt power coming out of me. Power. And the woman knew she had been discovered. So she works her way up to Jesus, we're told, in fear and trembling. She said, I touched you. And Jesus said, oh, woman, great is your faith. Why was she trembling? Because she knew she was in the presence of God. She wasn't afraid, she was astonished. I saw that once. When I was in Rome, in the seminary of Opus Dei, the guy who was in charge of the whole building, we used to call him the Malboro Man. That's when people used to smoke Marlboros, and he had a handlebar mustache, and he could kick a soccer ball the length of the field and serve a tennis ball at 115 miles an hour and ride up and down the mountain no-handed. What I really liked about him, his name was Javier Sanchez Izquierdo, is that he never said foolish things. Everybody respected him. Well, one day he got ordained as a deacon. And about 2 weeks later on Sunday, it was his turn for the first time to hold the sacred host and deliver Holy Communion to the people. I was watching because I was up in the choir loft. I played the organ during those years. I said, oh, wow, here comes the Malboro Man. Really tough guy. And he was there in his cassock and his alb and his surplice. And then I saw him holding the ciborium in his left hand, and his hand was shaking. It had to be embarrassing for him. Everybody noticed it, but nobody said a thing. So what was going on? He really believed he had God in his hands, and it's hard to wrap your head around that. We should all ask Jesus for the grace to have reverence for the Holy Eucharist. Because as Pope Benedict wrote in his last book, the Eucharist is at the center of absolutely everything. That's why the National Eucharistic Congress and Revival is so important and vital, not just for the Church, but for each one of us individually and for our entire country. So I hope to see you at the National Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis in 2024. Let's all show up for Jesus.